Yo, what's up guys, it's NLW Figs here, back again with another video. Today, gonna be giving you my Survivor Series thoughts and predictions for Sunday's event. It's Raw vs SmackDown, a quite rushed build to the show, but there's still some stuff on this card which could get a lot of people excited. I'm going to run through it match by match, but before I get into the video, make sure you like it if you enjoyed and subscribe for more wrestling figure content. And as always, comment down below, what are your thoughts and predictions heading into Survivor Series? Let me know in the comments below. But without further ado, let's kick off the prediction video, and we'll start with one of the first title versus title matches. So you've got the US champion Damien going one-on-one with Intercontinental champion Shinsuke Nakamura, and on paper this seems like a really cool matchup. You know that Nakamura's got that Japanese strong style, but Damien Priest is a big dude who can do some quite high-flying things, so it'll be an interesting match to see, and not one that I'd predict that they'd book in a normal capacity, so it's cool to see it on this night. Probably one of the ones that I'm looking forward to a lot, actually, kind of a sleeper hit. I'm predicting that Damien Priest is going to win this one, just based on the fact that he seems to have been booked stronger on Raw than Nakamura has in the past. I feel like Nakamura can afford to take a loss here, even though he shouldn't really. You know, I feel that Nakamura should be pushed more, even though he is the Intercontinental Champion. But I'm predicting that Damien Priest is going to win, as he probably should, over Nakamura. But I don't think Nakamura would be hurt by this loss, and hopefully they pull something out of the bag that's quite entertaining to watch. Speaking of entertaining to watch, we've got RK Bro, the Raw Tag Team Champions of Riddle and Randy Orton, going up against the Usos, who are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. This one, again, is a match that could be a sleeper hit for match of the night. You know, the Usos are good in big match situations in a tag sense, and Randy Orton and Riddle as well. They've displayed some really good chemistry thus far in their tag team run. For this match, I don't know who's going to win. I would probably maybe predict that the Usos were going to win, but in this instance, I feel that maybe RK Bro have got this in the bag because of the results of some later matches, which I will get into. But yeah, I've got Randy Orton and Riddle winning this one against the Usos. I feel like the Usos can afford to take a loss, and then that just stems, or at least breeds, more discontent from Roman Reigns with them, saying that he's, like, you know, disappointed in them or whatever. Can really have the tribal chief assert his authority over the Usos. So I feel like RK Bro should win this one. Whether they will or not, I'm not too sure, but I'm going to predict RK Bro for now. Next up, another Raw vs SmackDown match, as we've got Team Raw for the women's with Bianca Belair, one half of the women's tag team champions Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella and Queen Zelina, versus Team SmackDown, that's Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi Natalya, and another competitor to be announced. This one, it feels obvious that it's going to be Raw, because you've got the big star power of Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair on that team. Plus, I know they're pushing Zelina and Liv Morgan as well simultaneously, so you'd think they want to be strong in this matchup. On Team SmackDown, it seemed quite weak on paper. Even though Sasha Banks, you know, she is booked strong most of the time, hasn't really done a lot recently, you know, apart from being in the title scene, but she's kind of been pushed to the side a little bit. Shayna Baszler as well, they're pushing quite strong, although they could go around a way to get her eliminated by countout or something. Shotzi, I don't see her having a strong performance, even though she's just turned heel. Natalya, and who's going to be the last person in it? It's not really going to be anybody exciting, is it? Let's face it. So I think that Team Raw's going to win this one. Maybe have Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley as the sole survivors. Maybe even tease something for WrestleMania between those two. That's what I'd do personally. Yeah, aside from that, how much does it bury Nikki Ash not being in this match, even though she's a champion? Just a little thought I had on that part. And we'll go on to another women's match, as the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch goes up against the SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. A little bit of spice in this one, a little bit of real life heat and tension between these two. Is it a work, or are they just playing it up? I'm not too sure. It all seems really weird, it all seems really awkward. It'll be interesting to see how they work together at Survivor Series, although they're both capable of putting out a great match, so I'm sure this is going to be no different. With this one, I don't know, because you've also got the backstage politics to think about in this one. Would Charlotte Flair want to lose to Becky Lynch and vice versa? She's going to do the job, you know, no problem there, I imagine. So I'm going to assume Becky Lynch is going to win, although does that make the SmackDown women's scene weak if you don't have SmackDown win at least one of those matches? I'm not too sure, but I would think that Becky Lynch is going to win this one. Maybe to humble Charlotte Flair a little bit, to have her lose in this match, but I don't know, because I feel like Becky Lynch is the one who is going to win, but again, I could see Charlotte winning too, but it just feels like this is Becky Lynch's match to win, and then continue on with whatever goes on with Liv Morgan and the rest of the women on the roster. Got a really stacked roster of women on Raw, not so much SmackDown, but it is what it is. Maybe they can bolster it with a couple of fresh names in that scene, but I digress. We'll move on to the 5-on-5 Men's Survivor Series elimination match. Team Raw of Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and now, as of Raw, Austin Theory, ignore the pick of Rey Mysterio, versus Team SmackDown, Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, King Woods, Happy Corbin, and another member to be announced. So obviously on the screen you see Rey Mysterio, however on Raw, last minute change, Austin Theory now replaces him, which maybe makes the team a little bit weaker. I'm not the biggest fan of Austin Theory in the world, but again, like pushing young stars, fair enough. Go for it, put him in the match on a big spotlight. I'm all for it, So with this one, again, not too sure who's going to win it, because you've got two people one on either side, which I think are unbeatable, and you've got that's Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. It's just which one of them will take the fall and will lose. So with this one, based on recent booking, I'm guessing Team SmackDown's going to win. I think that Drew McIntyre's going to be the sole survivor, maybe with King Woods as well, although I wouldn't count on it. I don't know who the last person in the match is going to be, though. Could be Sheamus, because I know he's coming back recently, isn't he? It's good to see Jeff Hardy in a prominent match for once. Hopefully they continue pushing him a little bit more on SmackDown than they have been on Raw. On the Raw side as well, though, you've got the interest with Kevin Owens turning heel, seemingly going after Big E now. There's Finn Balor too, who's been booked strong, and Seth Rollins also has been, prominently featured. It's just who it comes down to at the end of the day. I think it's probably going to come down to McIntyre and Lashley, perhaps. I don't know if Owens is going to do something to get himself disqualified or counted out because he's a heel. That's, the kind of logic that they're dictated by our WWE. So because of the strength of Drew McIntyre, that's who I'm predicted to be the sole survivor for Team SmackDown. And then if he wins for his team, maybe that bolsters him and boosts him into a match against the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns heading into WrestleMania, because it seems like that's a big match that they're saving. Again, like that's a match that they had last year at Survivor Series, in fact. So I think that McIntyre winning here would put him over for SmackDown, give SmackDown some wins as well, because I think that Raw's going to have a fairly clean sweep for a lot of the night. But in this match, I predict that McIntyre's going to win it, maybe last eliminating Bobby Lashley or Rollins, I'm not too sure. Either way, it could be fun, but it's not the strongest concept in terms of teams that they've had in a number of years. And that's another thing I just want to point out. The whole Survivor Series Raw versus SmackDown thing seems a bit passé now. They've done it for several years. It worked initially in like 2016, 2017, but now when you've got the draft so close to the show, I think that most of Team Raw weren't even on Raw like a month ago. So why are they fighting? There should be stakes on the line, because there's no prize really for winning, just this fake idea of brand supremacy, which, it's not really enough for me to buy into it, but it could be a fun match. I'm not going to complain about it too much just yet. And now we come on to what I assume is going to be the main event, the main champions colliding. The WWE Champion Big E from Raw going one-on-one with the Universal Champion Roman Reigns from SmackDown. This match on paper, fantastic. Like, I personally believe that Big E could have probably stayed on SmackDown, maybe even been the one to beat Roman Reigns. I know that's kind of an out there idea for some people, but I truly believe that he could have done that. Still, it's great to see Big E as the WWE Champion, and you've got Roman Reigns having his interactions with the New Day on SmackDown, and they've sort of teased this for a while with the cross-brand stuff that the Usos and the Bloodline have been doing with the New Day. So Big E versus Roman, again, I'm not sure who's going to win this. I believe... No, wait, no, I do know who's going to win this. Sorry, Roman Reigns is going to win it, obviously. What I meant to say was, I think that they probably should have done the Bloodline versus the New Day at Survivor Series rather than have it on a random Raw, only because it feels like it's a more unpredictable matchup to save it on the pay-per-view, and you could do more high spots with it and stuff like that. But Big E versus Roman Reigns, still a big matchup. It's just a bit predictable, but again, predictability, it's not always the worst thing, although in this situation, maybe, I don't know, maybe having Reigns just beat Big E clean doesn't do the best for the WWE Championship, but it is what it is. That's what I predict is going to happen. I'd like to see Big E put up a fight would be awesome if Big E won, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Roman Reigns has this in the bag, and I believe that Tribal Chief will continue his reign of dominance over on SmackDown. So those are my thoughts on Survivor Series. Again, not too excited for the card. It seems rushed. And as a concept and the storyline around Raw vs SmackDown, it's been done to death over the past few years. But again, like the matches on paper seem quite fun. And, who knows? They could pull something out of the bag. But we'll have to wait and see on Sunday. But what do you think about Survivor Series? Let me know your predictions in the comments below. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe to NLW Figs for more wrestling figure content. That's it from me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all later.